All right. So I just now finished watching the new Superman 2025, and I'll get right into it. The movie starts off with text, with words that explain Superman's life and origin. But I like the way they did it. It starts off explaining what took place 3 centuries ago. Then it explains what happened to him a few decades ago, then a few weeks ago, then a few days ago, and 3 minutes prior. So instead of showing it to you, they just put it in text. And I like it. It's different. It's something like what Star Wars did. At the very beginning of the movie, you get the whole text scroll. And it tells you right then and there that for the very first time, Superman has been defeated. And that's where we start off with Superman in the middle of nowhere, in the snow, defeated, bleeding, hurt, bruised. And that's when he calls or whistles for Krypto. And I think Krypto deserved a bit more of a dramatic entrance because all he does is whistle and all you see is a big puff of snow kicking up and then boom, he appears. And man, when I tell you the CGI is noticeable, it's really noticeable. It's a dog that can't get the movement right. And they don't explain how Krypto even entered his life. Did he come with him as a child when he landed on Earth? And I had to look up the origin of Krypto. And he was sent first as a test subject by Superman's dad. And on the way to Earth, Krypto got lost in space. So then Superman went, landed on Earth, and later on, as a teenager, Krypto shows up. And I have to say, man, the Fortress of Solitude is sick. It's really, really good. It comes out from the ground, a bunch of crystals form. I liked it a lot. The movie title intro could have been done better. I like when they build up to it. Something happens and then bam, you get hit with the title. But not right here. I've never seen a Superman who's as vulnerable as this one is. I mean, he takes a lot of damage and it hurts and he expresses it. All the other Superman were pretty much invincible except for, kryptonite or a very powerful villain. And whenever Superman is Clark Kent, it's pretty convincing. It's a lot more convincing than Christopher Reeve's Superman, where all he did was just put on glasses. This one right here is a broccoli head. His hair is all fuzzy. He has the glasses, but he doesn't change his voice the way Christopher Reeve did. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if the actor was incapable of changing his voice to a very different degree than his normal voice, but it sounds exactly the same. Lois knows he's Superman here, and they have a romantic relationship. So that's a bit different. Not a big deal. It's not a bad thing, but I always have to go back to the original Superman, and it wasn't like that. They build up to it, but not here. They just right away let you know that she knows they're together, and that's it. Also, this Superman is very emotional. He's very human-like. He's angry, he gets sad, he gets hurt, both physically and emotionally. And yeah, you probably heard that there's a war going on between two countries. Yeah, and it's definitely Israel and Palestine. But of course, they changed the names. They even changed the location, but it's very, very obvious what countries they represent. Now, there's this part in the movie where Lex Luthor and his goons show up at the Fortress of Solitude. And it just opens up and lets them in. You would think that only Superman or Krypto or people who Superman has allowed or gave some kind of way of entering his home. But it turns out that just anybody could just walk in. And while inside the Fortress of Solitude, these robots that help Superman, they get their asses handed to them. These are some weak ass robots. And the fight is so heavily CGI, but I mean, very noticeable, very cartoonish almost, computer graphics. And whenever Superman is fighting these monsters or these villains in the middle of the city, people are just standing around looking at him fight or even filming. And it's kind of annoying, and it makes you not want to root for the people not to be hurt because they're all stupid and standing around watching and filming. They should be like running and evacuating, but no, they're just standing around watching. Now the Justice Gang, they just pop out of nowhere. They should have gotten a better intro, a little more dramatic entrance, a build-up of some kind, even a mention or something beforehand, but they just pop up like out of nowhere. And I have to mention, there's just one part when he's fighting a big old monster where he takes the time to save a squirrel. I was like, what the is that about? I think it would have made more sense if Krypto would have saved the squirrel because he's an animal too. But no, Superman takes the time while fighting the giant monster to save a squirrel. So after fighting that monster, he's talking to the people, hugging kids, and like a politician almost. And on the big screen, there's a video of Lex Luthor showing his parents sending him a message saying that he was sent to Earth to destroy humans. And the people instantly believe it. They turn on him on the drop of a hat. They start throwing stuff at him. One lady's crying. I mean, so fast. It was rushed. Like, who would believe something like that, especially in this day and age? So quick. The video could have easily been faked. To me, that's either terrible writing or just lazy writing. And the Green Lantern character has a stupid Spock haircut. Why did they give him that haircut? I don't know. So I had to look up this guy, Guy Gardner, a comic book character. He's a Green Lantern. And sometimes he has that haircut and sometimes he doesn't. I would have went with a whole different look. But for some reason they kept it. So when Lex Luthor and his goons were inside the Fortress of Solitude, they capture Krypto. But when Superman enters, he doesn't look for Krypto first. He runs towards a robot that's been damaged or whatever, the number 4 robot. And he starts asking him a bunch of questions and all this kind of stuff. After that conversation, that's when he looks around and whistles for Krypto. But you would think he would have looked for him first for the dog. But no, the robots were way more important. Oh, and I got to mention this because I love the TV show Peacemaker, and he makes a cameo. He's being interviewed on a TV show, and I would like for them to meet Superman and Peacemaker, man. That would have been funny. That would have been cool. Later on, Superman is taken to like an immigration detention center. That's exactly what it looks like. He's put into this vault where inside he goes into this black hole type of universe. Very weird. And he's being shown by Lex Luthor that whole new world. And I shit you not, there are monkeys spreading misinformation on the internet. What today people might call bots or trolls or something. It's just a bunch of, literal little monkeys just typing away. I thought it was funny. I laughed, but I thought it was weird at the same time. Mr. Terrific. He's probably my favorite character out of all of them. I think a young Sam Jackson would have been a really good Mr. Terrific. But the guy who played him, I don't think I could pronounce his name, but I think it's Edi Gathegi. That guy is really good. He reminds me of a young Samuel Jackson. But the poor girl, hot girl, barely gets any screen time. She's not very important in the story, but she's still cool. I wish, she would have got an equal amount of attention and screen time, but I think there was way too many things already going on for her to get her proper screen time. So they spent a lot of time inside that portal black hole universe. It's weird, and I don't think it was very necessary. They could have skipped that whole part, and the movie would have been shorter, which it needed to be, and just as good, or even better. It felt more like a deleted scene, like an extended cut. And we're used to watching beams from the sky come on down and bring stuff down and whatnot. Well, right here, it's the Earth splitting because of that black hole universe, and I like that idea. It's way better than that beam in the sky. Now, one funny part that I thought it was hilarious, Superman gets kicked in the balls during a fight at a stadium. That's that James Gunn humor, man. I thought it was funny, but I don't see a lot of other people laughing. A lot of the humor didn't land. And the poor old Israeli army gets destroyed by the Justice Gang, specifically by Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern. But somebody, whoever wrote that, maybe James Gunn, I don't know, really doesn't like the Israeli government or the army, because the Guy Gardner uses his big giant green hand to flip over tanks, but his hand turns into a big flipping the bird hand. So that's sending a message right there. This movie has way too many bad guys and characters. It's overwhelming. It's too much. I think they should have scaled back a little bit, make it more either about Superman and Krypto, or at least reduce the amount of villains. And why did it take him so long, Superman, I mean, to find Lex Luthor at his headquarters? Towards the end, it happens at the very end. Maybe I missed that part, but he was right there in plain sight, right in the middle of the city. This looked like DC is trying to create a new DC universe all in one movie. Instead of making several movies and putting them together like, Endgame, the Avengers, they're trying it again. Like the Justice League thing didn't work out too well. They're trying it again, but all on one swing. And guess who makes a cameo? Superman's cousin, Supergirl, towards the very end. But she looks like a modern day drunk blonde bimbo. Why was she drunk? I don't know. But if she were to make her own movie and it's played by her, the way she played it, that actress, she is not going to be liked by anybody. So all in all, this movie was a little too long. 2 hours. Could have been an hour and a half, 145. It's good. It's not bad, but it's definitely forgettable. It's not going to be one of those you watch at least once a year or once every 2 years or something like that. There's way too much going on, way too many characters, and there's a lot of shaky cam CGI, especially during fights, and it gets to be a little too much, over sensory load, and you don't even get a lot of Krypto. A lot of people are curious about that dog and what kind of role it plays, and it has its role, but I thought they were going to be side by side throughout the majority of the movie, but no. Krypto disappears, and he comes back for a little while, and then he disappears. At one point, Batman. Superman is getting his ass handed to him by his own clone, and he whistles, and Krypto's at a pet shop eating food, just chilling, and then he flies away, and he goes and helps Superman. But I think the movie needed a little more Krypto alongside Superman. Okay, so from 1 to 10, I'm going to give this movie here a solid 6. It's not rewatchable, not for me, but I would recommend it. If you're a Superman fan or if you like superhero movies, I think people will enjoy it. Most people will. I don't think it's going to be a flop. I think it's going to make some good money. It might not break records, but I think they'll get their money's worth. Their money, their investment back. All right, man. I will catch you on the next one.
Peace out.